Have you ever wondered what someone would do with a simple 100 bob? It's not a fortune, but in Kenya, it can mean a lot more than you might think. This small red note holds a special place in the hearts of many Kenyans. Not a million, not 1,000, but just one red note? It might seem insignificant to some, but in the hands of a Kenyan, it can transform into something magical. From buying a meal to sparking a conversation, this note has the power to change a day, or even a life. In Kenya, 100 bob is like that friend who always shows up, dependable, familiar, and sometimes full of surprises. It's the note that can buy you a hearty meal at a local eatery, or a ride on a matatu to visit a friend. It's the note that can be split among friends to share a moment of joy, or saved for a rainy day. I decided to ask my fellow Kenyans one question. Mia Moja Matokeo. What would you do if you had 100 shillings? The answers were as diverse as the people themselves. Some spoke of buying food for their families, others mentioned saving it for school fees, and some even talked about using it to start a small business. What unfolded was a hilarious, heartwarming, and sometimes heartbreaking journey into the spirit of Kenya, one Mia Moja at a time. Each story revealed a unique perspective on life, resilience, and the power of community. From the bustling streets of Nairobi to the serene landscapes of the countryside, the magic of the 100 shilling note was evident everywhere. It was a reminder that sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest impact. First, I met Kamau, a street-smart kid who could sniff out a 10-bob coin from a mile away. Kamau had a knack for finding opportunities where others saw none. He was always on the lookout, his eyes scanning the ground for any glint of metal. His friends often joked that he had a sixth sense for money. But Kamau wasn't just about finding coins, he had dreams too.
Nikipata Mia Moja, nataka mandazi mbili na chai moto. If I get 100 bob, I want 2 mandazis and hot tea.
He chirped, eyes sparkling. Kamau's simple wish for a warm meal spoke volumes about his daily struggles and small joys. Despite the hardships, his spirit remained unbroken, and his dreams, though modest, were filled with hope and warmth. Next up was Mama Ben, a Matumba queen with a business mind sharper than her wit. She had been in the business for years, turning second-hand clothes into a thriving enterprise. Her stall was always bustling with customers, drawn by her keen eye for quality and her knack for negotiation.
Nikipata Mia Moja, natanunua nyanya na kitunguu. Kesho nipike chapodondo. If I get 100 bob, I'll buy tomatoes and onions, and tomorrow I'll cook chapati and beans,
she declared, her voice booming through the market. Mama Ben's dream was not just about feeding her family, but also about creating a sense of community. Her chapati and beans were famous in the neighborhood, bringing people together over shared meals and stories. Her stall was more than a business, it was a hub of activity, a place where people gathered to share their lives. Mama Ben's laughter was infectious, and her generosity knew no bounds. She often gave away extra food to those in need, believing that a full stomach could fuel big dreams. Then came Moses, a university student buried in books and dreams. Moses was always seen with a book in hand, his eyes filled with determination. He was the first in his family to attend university, and he carried the weight of their hopes and expectations.
Nikipata Mia Moja nataka kuongeza kwa savings. If I get 100 bob, I want to add it to my savings. One day nitakuwa na kampuni kubwa. One day I'll have a big company,
He confided, ambition radiating from his eyes. Moses's dream was to build a company that would not only lift his family out of poverty, but also create jobs for others in his community. He spent hours studying business models and saving every shilling he could. His determination was palpable, and his vision was clear. Moses knew that every small step he took brought him closer to his goal. His journey was not just about personal success, but about making a lasting impact on the world around him. The responses were a mix of practicality and pure Kenyan humor. One man quipped,
Nikipata Mia Moja, nataka kuweka kwa M-Pesa alafu nitawatch balance yangu ikikua.
Another joked,
Nikipata Mia Moja, nataka kwenda date, lakini sijui kama itatosha.
From buying bundles to betting on sure odds, Kenyans sure know how to find humor in the everyday hustle. But amidst the laughter, there was a moment that stopped me in my tracks. It was one of those instances where the world seems to slow down, and you become acutely aware of the emotions around you. The joyous atmosphere of the park, filled with the sound of laughter and playful banter, was suddenly contrasted by a scene that felt out of place. A young woman, her eyes filled with a quiet sadness, simply shook her head. She stood apart from the group, her demeanor a stark contrast to the surrounding merriment. It was as if she carried the weight of the world on her shoulders, a silent plea for understanding etched across her face.
Nikipata Mia Moja, sitaki kitu. Her words were simple, yet they carried a depth of meaning that was hard to ignore. It was a phrase that spoke volumes about her current state, a reflection of her struggles, and the harsh realities she faced daily.
She whispered, her voice heavy with unspoken stories. Each word seemed to carry the weight of countless untold experiences, a lifetime of challenges and hardships that had shaped her into the person she was today. Her whisper was not just a sound, but a testament to her resilience and strength. It was a stark reminder that not everyone finds humor in the struggle, and that behind every smile, there could be a story of pain and perseverance. The bustling street scene around her seemed to blur, as if the world was acknowledging her silent cry for help. It was a poignant moment that highlighted the often unseen battles people face and evade. And sometimes, even 100 bob can feel like a world away. The value of money, often taken for granted, can mean the difference between hope and despair for someone in need. This encounter was a powerful reminder of the disparities that exist in our society, and the importance of empathy and understanding in bridging those gaps. Her response hung in the air, a poignant counterpoint to the earlier lightheartedness. It made me realize that 100 bob, while significant to some, might not even scratch the surface of others' struggles. It was a humbling reminder that behind every joke there's a story, and behind every story, a life lived. As I continued my quest, I realized that this wasn't just about money. It was about dreams, aspirations, and the indomitable spirit that makes Kenyans who they are. It was about finding joy in the smallest of things, even in the face of adversity. It was about the power of community, of shared laughter, and shared struggles. Of course, no Kenyan story is complete without a healthy dose of bloopers.
There was the guy who, upon seeing the camera, froze and blurted out, "Nikipata 100 bob, nataka, nataka. Ah, wacha tu."
And then there was the mama who, in her excitement, mixed up her Swahili and Sheng, leaving everyone in stitches.
So dear reader, I leave you with this. Nikipata 100 bob, nataka. What? Share your responses in the comments below, and let's keep the laughter, the stories, and the spirit of Kenya alive. Sometimes, all it takes is a simple question to unlock a world of stories. In the heart of Kenya, where laughter and resilience go hand in hand, 100 bob became more than just money. It became a mirror, reflecting the hopes, dreams, and unwavering spirit of a nation.